Good afternoon, everyone. It is the 86th day of Ukrainian-Russian war. We are here at the media center Ukraina, Ukrinform. Our speaker is Oleksandr Motuzyanyk, the spokesperson of the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine, who will tell us about the current situation on the front line. Sir, the floor is yours. Thank you. Hello, friends. I'm happy to welcome all of you here. I would like to present you the information on the current situation regarding the Russian aggression against Ukraine as of May 20th, 12 o'clock. The current situation in combat areas remains tense, with signs of further escalation. Russian occupation forces are concentrating intense fire along the entire line of contact and are attempting to use artillery to strike deep into the rear of the positions of Ukrainian forces in the Donetsk operational direction and along the Slovyansk axis. The adversary continues to concentrate forces on holding the occupied positions, carry out reconnaissance, building fortifications, replenishing ammunition, fuel, oil, servicing vehicles and weapon systems, and is attempting to improve the tactical positions along certain axes. Moreover, the aggressor is defining new locations to launch missiles targeting the territory of Ukraine. As our reconnaissance found out, Russian crews of long-range bombers Tu-22M3 are practicing missile launches from the aerial space about the northern part of the temporarily occupied territory of the Autonomous Republic of Crimea. Currently, I will provide you some more information along the main axis and operational zones. Along the Kharkiv axis, the armed forces of Ukraine are deterring the units of the 6th Army of the Western Military District, 41st Army of the Central Military District, and coastal units of the Baltic Fleet of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation. There, the adversary attempts to hold the occupied positions and continues to actively use artillery systems. The occupational forces have shelled the settlement of Dementivka, which is 27 kilometers north of Kharkiv. Along the Slovyansk axis, our forces are repelling the advance of Russian units from the 1st Tank Army, 20th Army, coastal units of the Baltic Fleet, 29th, 35th, 36th Armies, as well as 68th Army Corps, and the airborne forces of the Russian Federation. The enemy concentrated on advancing, and therefore they're constantly regrouping the forces and accumulating resources. The adversary continues to use artillery along the line of contact south and southwest of the city of Izum. In order to clearly identify the positions of the Ukrainian forces, the enemy conducted aerial reconnaissance using UAV Orlan-10. Along the Donetsk axis, Ukrainian forces are repelling the attacks of Russian units from the 1st and 2nd Army Corps, the 8th and 58th Armies of the Southern Military District, 2nd 41st Army, and the 90th Tank Division of the Central Military District of the Armed Forces of the Russian Federation. Intense combat is still ongoing along Limansk, Severodonetsk, and Bakhmut axis. The main goal of the Russian occupational forces is to encircle Ukrainian units near Lysychansk and Severodonetsk. Along the Bakhmut axis, Ukrainian forces continue to limit the assault of the Russian troops, which, supported by artillery, is trying to expand the breakthrough area and occupy new positions near Popasna. Along Kurachiv axis, our forces are deterring the enemy, who, supported by artillery and aviation, is attempting to advance towards Novomykhailivka, which is 10 kilometers south of Marinka. Pivdенно-Buzhsky and Tavriisky axis. There, the Russian occupation forces from the 8th and 49th Army, from the 22nd Army Corps of the Southern Military District of the Russian Federation, and the Russian airborne forces. The main attempts of the occupation forces are concentrated on holding the occupied positions, carrying out reconnaissance, building fortifications, and providing logistic support to their own troops. On the Kryvyi Rih and Kherson axis, the situation has not changed significantly. The adversary still continues to use artillery to shell the positions of the Ukrainian forces and is attempting to set up the second line of defense. Siversky axis. In order to clarify the positions of artillery, lines of advance and positions of Ukrainian units. The adversary carried out aerial reconnaissance using UAVs in Chernihiv and Sumy regions. Furthermore, there is still a possibility of further missile strikes and artillery shellings of the border-adjacent regions of Ukraine. In Volyn and Polisa axis, there were no significant changes to the situation. Certain units of the armed forces of the Belarusian armed forces, up to 7 battalions, continue to reinforce the section of the Belarusian-Ukrainian border in Brest and Gomel Oblast. There's still a high threat of missile strikes and air strikes from the Belarusian territory targeting infrastructure facilities on the Ukrainian territory. Chornomorsk and Azov operational zones. The Black Sea Fleet ships in Black and Azov Sea continue to isolate the combat area, carry out reconnaissance, and provide fire support to own troops. I would like to highlight that as of today, according to the information of our reconnaissance, there are 2 ships with the total capacity of up to 16 missiles caliber in the Black Sea. Moreover, the naval units of the enemy in Black and Azov Sea continue to block civilian ships. At the same time, Ukrainian forces continue to carry out defensive operation, causing serious casualties to the enemy in terms of personnel and equipment. In Donetsk and Luhansk axis, over the course of the last 24 hours, our troops have repelled 14 enemy advances, burned down 8 tanks, 14 armored vehicles, and 6 vehicles of the Russian occupation forces. Moreover, Ukrainian air defense forces have shot down a few Russian UAVs Orlan-10. Overall, the losses of Russian occupation forces over the entire period are demonstrated on the slide. That is all from me. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to the heroes. Thank you so much, Mr. Motuzyanyk. Are there any questions from the audience, please? Could you please tell us how many settlements of Kharkiv are temporarily occupied? Unfortunately, I cannot provide you with this operational information. Along the certain areas of Kharkiv region, Ukrainian forces have pushed towards the border. However, there's still a few settlements that are under control of Russian troops. Are there any more questions? Yes, Viktor Melnikov, CGTN. There was, or maybe there wasn't, an explosion near Kiev because the mayor's office said that our air defense have neutralized the threat, but okay, friends, let us not forget that the instances of Russian missile or artillery strikes, especially targeting civilian infrastructure in peaceful cities, especially Kiev, we can only provide that information after 24 or 48 hours. First of all, the information needs to be clarified. And second of all, let's make sure we do not give the enemy information on their effectiveness and the effectiveness of our air defense. So unfortunately, I'm not able to provide that information right now. Are there any more questions? Thank you so much. There are no more questions. Thank you for your report. Thank you, everyone, for being here. You are here with Media Center.